Sheea Shafer. I'm new to Florida from Maui, and I am actually a Tantra specialist. But what I do in each of my sessions is I do this reading first so that I can connect with my clients on a personal level before we go into the advanced relationship stuff. So I brought a couple props just for fun. Some of you need to be whipped into consciousness, correct? Some of you need just to be loved into consciousness. And some of you need both, like most of us. So the Love and Destiny card system is kind of a unique system a friend introduced me to that you don't come across every day. Apparently it was channeled and used in Egypt and Atlantis. And so you're a certain card in the deck based on your birthday. And then we read about what that means. So this system is the one that created the card deck that you know of today that we play cards with. So it came from this system, and what we can do is several different things. If you choose to come today or some other time to see me, I'm upstairs and we can do a personal reading, but one of the main things that makes it unique is we can do a love reading. Because obviously, it being tantric, I am in the field of love and relationships and conscious sexuality, because that's what tantra is to me. And so basically, if you know the person's birthday, I can do a love reading about the both of you. And we can look up the different connections that you guys have. Like, is this relationship karmic? Are there past lives that we've had? Is this marriage material? Do we have a really good, positive, like Venus connection? Or is it more of like a Saturn, like, oh, struggle kind of connection? So there's 5 different connections that go with each. There's like a paragraph, 5 different paragraphs, and it talks about what that relationship is about, basically. If you're needing clarity about any particular love relationship, or even one with your child or parent or boss or whatever, we can look into that. And then the third way that we can do a reading is I can also look at what's going on for you right now. So what is influencing you right now in your life, and what themes are going on and what to be aware of. So, you've probably been listening to people quite a bit, and I'm wondering, I like things to be more interactive. So if you have questions, I would love for you to raise a hand and we can kind of be more interactive as well. I'm totally open to that. Yeah.
You said that one of the connections that people have got it, and I'm assuming that everybody, I mean, my spouse would have had to have been in a past life with me before. Is that true, or do you end up with a spouse who's never been in a past life?
Yeah, so if you have what they call a spiritual connection, in the spiritual spread as compared to the mundane spread, that usually means that you've had past lives together, and you're either well suited for each other or you're still working through something, maybe karmically. And so it just depends on your evolvement.
Right, but I guess I'm trying to say, would you ever end up with somebody that you never had a past life as a spouse?
Well, if you're transforming and you're choosing to experience something new, yeah. So it's kind of funny because I am single and I'm new to Florida. And so I end up using this system all the time if I'm like on a dating app and I'm wanting to see, is this like person worth looking into or not? And it'll tell me right away if this is a good connection or, oh, it's not so great. There's even a number system that they have, and I can be like, oh, I don't really think that it doesn't look like this is worth me pursuing, or, oh, wow, these are the best numbers I've had in a long time with this connection. And so I want to see what happens. So for single people, it can be very useful for sure. Any other questions? You guys might be new to this completely, or we probably have a range. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because that's one of the reasons why I chose this system to work with, is because it doesn't sugarcoat things. It'll tell you just how it is. And so, for instance, I mentioned earlier that there are Saturn connections. There might be Pluto connections. Those are harder. So if that's in the lineup, like I actually did a reading just before this where she had 3 Mars connections and a Pluto connection, and then what we call a cosmic reward connection. That's a pretty challenging lineup. But when we were reading into it, it was saying that she was just really wanting to evolve, and that's why she's choosing that. Usually Saturn and Pluto are quite transformative. Uranus can be that way too. And there's also pros and cons to every connection, right? Like Saturn isn't all bad, Pluto isn't all bad. It's like can be the most transformative thing you've ever had in your life. It's just good to know, though. And then it'll talk about, something you might need to work on, things to be aware of. And then you kind of know, okay, this is what this relationship is about. It's about transformation. It's about me growing. Or you might have more of, say, the positive ones, which are like Venus, Moon, Jupiter. Those are really positive connections that mean a lot of compatibility and chemistry. And so Mars, for instance, she had 3 Mars connections. And so just like I said earlier, there are positives, pros and cons to every connection. Mars can mean on the downside that you fight a lot. On the high side, it means there's a lot of passion there. So it's all in how you channel it and what you're choosing to do with that person. Usually it means you need to be active together, like either running a business together or working out together, or having a vital sexual relationship, say, because if you're stagnant or things are kind of quiet, you might tend towards fighting. So that's an example. Did that answer your question? Okay. Any other curiosities? You probably have never heard of this system before, is my guess, or, because like I said, it's sort of a rare one. I don't know why. I think it got hidden because it is very powerful, and it's called the Love and Destiny card system. Yeah. So it's actually, I use a reference book, but the cards that we know of, the playing cards, came from this system. And so you're a certain card in the deck based on your month and day of your birthday. And there's even a joker card in there. So that's only one day out of the year. So those people are rare. But then there's other cards where, there might be quite a few different birthdays that associate with that particular card. My name is Sheea, which my parents channeled, and I found out that in Egypt, where this system comes from, that there was this goddess that was the goddess of fate and destiny, and that's the goddess Sheea. And this is called the Love and Destiny card system. It just so happens that I am a 6 of spades, which is the card of fate. So there's a connection there. It's probably it makes sense that I'm doing these kind of readings. Any other questions? Great question. So you have a certain basic reading that's your card that you came into this life with. That's good to know because it makes you aware of, oh, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, this is how I'm rigged for love, or this is how I'm rigged for occupation. Um, it'll give you all that information. And then the part that changes is that I can look at any year of your life and tell you what the influences were. Like there's certain marriage cards, there's certain divorce cards, there's certain death cards, there's new beginning cards, and so I can track like what's happening for you. Usually people pick the present year, right? Like this is the year I want to know about what's happening for me. Do I have like love in the air or not? Do I have new beginnings or do I have endings happening this year? So it's both is the answer. There's quite a range of ways that I can look at whatever it is you're interested in. All right, yeah. I taught myself, but then again, there is the goddess of fate involved, right? So I have a feeling I've worked with this system before. It's funny, I had a colleague actually introduce it to me, and I just started incorporating it into my tantric sessions where I teach tantra techniques. And then, as a love and relationship coach too, it all kind of goes together. But there also is the author of who wrote the present day modern version of it, who's still alive. And going through the books, I kind of learned all the different ways that I can do readings through it because it's quite loaded. And I've taught and trained quite a few people in how to do it as well. So it's so fascinating. And then you can use it for your own life. All right, well, I guess I'm at the end of my time, but please come visit me upstairs, especially if you want a love reading.